Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will get lost in the pages of The Mastermind of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The Mastermind of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs, published in 1927, is a science fiction novel set on the planet Mars, known as Barsoom. The story is part of Burroughs Barsoom series and follows Ulysses Paxton, a soldier from Earth who finds himself transported to Mars after being mortally wounded in World War I. On Mars, he becomes involved in the complex world of Ras Thavas, the mastermind who is a master surgeon capable of transplanting brains between bodies. Plot summary: Ulysses Paxton, a soldier of Earth, lay dying on the battlefield in France, yearning for release from his broken body. Gazing up at the red orb of Mars, he pleaded for the adventure and escape that he had read of in the tales of John Carter, the warlord of Barsoom. In a moment of unexplainable magic, his soul was torn from the pain-ridden shell and transported across the vastness of space to the crimson planet itself. Paxton, reborn in the vigorous body of a Martian, found himself in a garden of strange flora under the sharp gaze of a withered old man. This was Ras Thavas, the master surgeon of Mars, whose scientific prowess was both a marvel and a terror. Ras Thavas, intrigued by the Earthman's fortitude and uniqueness, took Paxton under his wing, granting him a new name, Vadvaro. As Ras Thavas' apprentice, Vadvaro was thrust into a world of grotesque experiments and unfathomable science. The surgeon had perfected a method of transplanting brains between bodies, a power that rendered him a god among men. In the sprawling complex of laboratories and vaults, Vadvaro learned to replace organs, revitalize the dead, and, most disturbingly, transfer the very essence of a person from one vessel to another. It was in these vaults that Vadvaro first encountered Validaya, her spirit trapped within the decaying body of an old woman. Once a princess of remarkable beauty, Validaya's body had been stolen by the tyrannical Jadara Zaxa, who sought to escape the ravages of time. Zaxa had purchased Validaya's youth from Ras Thavas and left the princess's consciousness to fester in the wrinkled shell of her former self. Seeing the soul of Validaya shine through the ugliness forced upon her, Vadvaro felt a burning resolve to right this grievous wrong. Working by Ras Thavas' side, Vadvaro mastered the forbidden arts, all the while hiding his growing repulsion for the old surgeon's lack of morality. The laboratory was filled with beings whose lives had been shattered and rearranged by Ras Thavas' scalpel. He saw men with the minds of beasts and beasts that thought as men. He witnessed the wealthy paying obscene amounts for new, younger bodies, while the souls of the original owners languished in silent horror. Amidst this den of unnatural creations, Vadvaro nurtured a silent promise to free Validaya and restore her to her rightful body. Opportunity arose when Ras Thavas received a summons to the court of Zaxa. The Jadara, now in possession of Validaya's perfect form, demanded more of Ras Thavas' services to sustain her rule. Seeing this as his chance, Vadvaro persuaded Ras Thavas to take him along as his assistant. Their journey to the city of Fundal was fraught with peril, for Ras Thavas was a man many desired to either use or destroy. But his cunning and Vadvaro's earthborn tenacity saw them safely to the palace of the usurper queen. Within the walls of Fundal, Vadvaro witnessed the grotesque opulence of Zaxa's rule. The Jadara in Validaya's body was as cruel as she was beautiful, her tyranny magnified by the physical grace she had stolen. Vadvaro, forced to bow to this twisted monarch, bided his time, gathering allies among those who despised Zaxa's reign. He found a friend in Dar Taris, a noble warrior who had longed to see Zaxa dethroned, and the two devised a plan to infiltrate the queen's inner sanctum. The night of their coup came amidst a grand feast, where Zaxa reveled in the luxury that her theft of Validaya's body had bought her. Vadvaro and Dar Taris, with the aid of loyal servants, subdued the guards and slipped into the queen's chambers. There, Vadvaro confronted the false queen, revealing his knowledge of her treachery. Zaxa, with the agility of a cornered predator, attempted to strike him down, but the Earthman's reflexes, honed in the trenches of war, were quicker. He overpowered her and, with a grim determination, bound her for transport back to Ras Thavas' laboratory. The return journey was perilous. With Zaxa in tow, her followers hot on their heels, Vadvaro and his comrades fought through the treacherous Martian landscape. In the face of danger, Vadvaro's resolve only hardened. He had vowed to restore Validaya and end Zax's reign of terror. Through cunning and courage, they eluded capture and returned to the fortress of Ras Thavas. There, in the cold, clinical environment of the laboratory, Vadvero prepared for the ultimate test of his skill. Ras Thavas, intrigued by the prospect of such a challenging procedure, watched closely as his pupil undertook the task. With steady hands, Vadvero severed the unnatural bond between Zax's mind and Validaya's body, reversing the horrid exchange that had stolen a life. When at last he finished, the old woman's body, now housing Zax's consciousness, was locked away, and Validaya's essence returned to its rightful home. As Validaya's eyes fluttered open, now filled with the light of her restored soul, Vadvero felt a surge of triumph. The woman before him was no longer the shattered, grieving spirit trapped in an alien form, but a living, breathing testament to his victory over Ras Thavas' cold science. Ras Thavas himself, while displeased at the loss of a lucrative asset in Zaxa, could not help but acknowledge the brilliance of Vadvero's execution. With Zax's downfall, the city of Fundal was freed from tyranny. Validaya, reborn, stood as a symbol of hope for the oppressed Martians who had suffered under the Jadara's rule. And Vadvero, the Earthman who had come to Mars a stranger, had found his purpose among the red sands of Barsoom. In the midst of a world that melded science with savagery, he had carved out a place where courage and compassion could thrive. As Vadvero and Validaya left the laboratory behind, they knew their journey was far from over. Mars was a world of endless mysteries and dangers, but together they would face whatever lay ahead, hand in hand, united by the strange twist of fate that had brought them to this moment. If this book pulled you in, don't stop here. Explore the rest of Barsoom series by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Check the description or search Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Edgar Rice Burroughs' original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.